Welcome to Create, Build, Manage, the Entrepreneur's Toolbox.
Welcome to Create, Build, Manage on BizTV. I'm Kelli Phillips. Jerry McCullough is here to tell us about his nonprofit organization that helps other organizations and volunteers find each other. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Create, Build, Manage. Well, after more than 40 years in school administration, he realized he still had a lot to offer. So he joined Men Serving God. Joining us now is Jerry McCullough. Men Serving God, what is it?
Men Serving God is an organization where we encourage men to serve in their home, serve in their church, and then serve in the community. And that's our mission.
So how did you get involved with the organization?
Well, I started it.
Oh!
And it kind of came about from about 10 years, well, more really 12 years ago. An associate that I worked with the school district, and when I retired, well, he said, well, I don't want to lose contact. Can we have lunch together? And I said, sure. And so we started meeting for lunch, but every time we had lunch, the conversation turned to our faith. And finally, one day he said, why don't we just have a Bible study and you teach it? And so that's how it really got started. And so after a few months of that, I said, could some other men join us? And so that grew to 10 men. And that went for a year or so. And then I thought, I'm not doing anything on Wednesdays. This Bible study's on Tuesday, and I'm not doing anything on Wednesday. I'll see if some other men want to do one on Wednesday. And so that happened, and got up to about 10 men. And so that went on for a year or so. But one day I thought, these men are coming and they're studying God's Word, and but are they serving in their church, or are they serving somewhere in the community? So I asked them, I said, would you like to have a retreat and talk about service? And that went over like a lead balloon. And so I talked 12 guys into having a night with Christian men, is what we called it. Mm-hmm. And we had a barbecue, and we were in a home, and we sat around the dining room table, and we talked about how we can serve in the community. And so a year passed, and I said, guys, y'all want to have another one, a night with Christian men? And they said yes, but this time, instead of 12 men, we had 34 men show up, and we had barbecue, and instead of we in a large room, we talked about service and had some speakers, people that were serving. So a year went by again, and said, well, just think about having another one. Well, we had to move out of the home to Shady Valley Country Club, and we had over 70 men come, and we talked about service, and had some speakers. And so about that time, COVID came along and kind of shut us down as far as meeting were concerned. But several of us, and I'd kind of formed a board at that time. And so we started working on a website. We started working on our logo and different things during that period of time. And so, but then things got better with COVID, and I pulled everybody together, and 12, 13 guys. And we started talking about having another meeting or another barbecue. And we said, well, we went from 12 to 34 to over 70. Do you think we can go to 150? And we started thinking about where we could have this. Who would the speaker be and all this? Well, we decided we'd have it at the Levitt here in Arlington, mm-hmm. an outdoor venue, and 400 men showed up.
Wow!
And we served them barbecue, and Jonathan Evans was our first speaker. He was a chaplain with the Cowboys, and so we've been having it at the Levitt ever since, and so we've had, I guess, 4 now. And all of them have been running around, 400 was our lowest. We've been up to high 700 men showing up.
How does that make you feel that to watch this little thing that started just with the 2 of you?
Right.
And it has grown exponentially.
Well, how it makes me feel, it's a God thing. I didn't have anything to do with it. God just used me to get the men talking about how they can serve. We always emphasize we want them to serve in their church first, and then then serve in the community. But we're not trying to pull men away from church. We're trying to push men to church and get them to serve in churches.
Do you find that more men are more active in church when they're younger, and then once they retire, they kind of go away from the church, and this is a way to get them back in?
Well, the way I looked at it was that a lot of men, when getting ready to retire or retired, they don't have a mission at that point a lot of times. And so I really want to get them off the couch and get them out, get them in their church working, and also into the community, because the community needs so many volunteers, and there's so many places they could use their skills, and because they've had some abilities in their work life. Yeah,
they've had successful careers, so right. they still have a lot to give back, and this is a way for them to do it.
And so, there's not a whole lot said in the Bible about retirement, but there is a lot said about serving other people.
Mm-hmm. And you can serve as long as you're alive.
That's true.
So what are some of the projects that y'all have done as a group?
Oh, gosh. We work with about 30 different organizations, and they have different things that come up. And one of them is the International Students Organizations at University of Texas at Arlington. And so we've helped that organization in hosting their meetings and getting the word out about it. We do a lot of work with the Salvation Army and doing some things with them. We do a lot of work with the organization called Trinity Community Foundations. We've done work with them. And we just kind of put it out there for men. Here's an opportunity. And some men will take that. In fact, I had a man call me this morning, and the YMCA had put out a deal. They needed some men to help with the project there. And he said, I want to let you know, Jerry, that I went out, and there was some other men serving God out there, and we helped him out there. So that's one way we do it, just put the word out. And right now, we're kind of forming some small teams of men that we would go together and help different organizations when they need help. And so that's been going pretty well, too.
Do people just reach out to you in general and say, hey, we've got a need?
Yes, they do. And, we're becoming well known in our community as far as being able to help people, organizations with different things. And that word gets around. And, but we want to provide men to help them with their needs. We have about 2,000 men on our database, and that's what that goes out to them. And so,
is this just limited to the DFW area at this point?
Well, we have another group over in Irving that they don't call themselves Men Serving God, but they came to ours, and then they went back to Irving and said, we can do this over in Irving, but they have a different name for them. And but right now it's just here in Arlington, Mansfield, the Metroplex area.
Well, we've got lots of other questions. Will you stick around so we can talk a little bit more?
We'll do that.
All right. We'll be right back with more after this. back with Jerry McCullough to talk more about men serving God. And Jerry, this is an organization that you started, but tell us a little bit more about the barbecue and the breakfast. Do you charge men to come to that?
No, we don't. We do not charge. We raise our money through a golf tournament in the spring, but that helps us to not charge anybody that comes to the barbecue. So, you have 600 men show up for barbecue. Well, that's expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but we have a group of men that will cook the barbecue for us. All we have to pay for is, the meat and the beans and different things. But, and then we have a breakfast, every other month. We don't charge. And they get full at these breakfasts, but the main thing about the breakfasts though is that we bring in a speaker that talks about how they serve in their home. Mm-hmm. We bring in a speaker that talks about how they serve in their church, and then we bring in a nonprofit that talks about how men could help that nonprofit if they came out and volunteered. And so we every other month they get encouraged to do these different things, and they hear from other men how they're doing, and I think that's a great example. And about how they volunteer. And how
I was going to say, not only do these men get full with food, but they also get full in their heart, and they probably meet other men and make that connection, don't they?
Yes, they do. And that's an important part of it. At our barbecue this year, we had tables and eight men sitting around the table, and they got to talk with each other, and then we had different speakers that would come up and talk about serving, and we choose a man that we honor each year as an outstanding example of serving, and that's become quite an honor for these men, and I think it encourages other men, and because these are just a lot of just normal guys that just are out there serving, and a lot of times people don't even know that.
Yeah.
And so it's an encouragement. We try to encourage men every time we meet.
How difficult is it for men to take that first step in wanting to serve others?
I think it is. I think it is difficult, and that's why we give them a lot of different types of opportunities that fits into what their skills are. If we just had one type of service type of deal, a lot of men wouldn't take that. But they have an opportunity to kind of pick and choose things that interest them, or they have those abilities. Some men like to build things. Mm-hmm. Some men like to talk. Some men like to do computer type work. And so an organization that needs some help, we put that out, and we tell them we want to know exactly how long these men are going to be asked to work, what type of work it is, and if they need any type of special permit or anything as far as background checks and things, so men know exactly what to expect, and that helps. And then a lot of times we try to get men to go together too, so there's not just one person going.
Do you have any stories that you can relate to the viewers about, men serving God and some of the success stories, if you will, that men have doing their serving and what they've gotten out of it?
Well, a lot of times we work with the Salvation Army in different things, and there's a time in the year where the Salvation Army is bringing in a lot of money, and so we have a group of men right now that are going down and helping them in the accounting department into unfolding money that's put into a kettle,
a bucket,
yeah.
Right?
And so that's and they enjoy doing that. There's a lot of camaraderie around the table as they do it, but they're helping the Salvation Army. There are other men who like international students. they enjoy going out and visiting with our international students here at the University of Texas at Arlington on Friday night, and they have a meal with them, and there may be 50 or 60 students there, and we really get to show them what America is all about by being in a private home. But a lot of men like to do that. Other situations, there are different times we have an organization will have a play day for children that are in apartments. And
they finally have a father figure that
and
comes.
Some men go out and they play games with them. And they would have hot dogs with them on a Saturday. It lasts for 3 or 4 hours. But these kids, a lot of times, don't have the opportunity to play. Mm-hmm. And we give them a lot of different games
Just
to play.
Throw a football around.
Yeah, throw a football around, or Frisbee. There's all sorts of games that children like. Sometimes we do musical chairs with the younger ones.
They like that.
They like that. But it's a play day. But a lot of men like to do that, and so we just try to give these opportunities to different men.
I've got to ask, you've watched the organization grow to what it is mm-hmm. today. Where do you think the organization will be 10, 20, 30 years from now? Where would you like to see it go?
Well, I want to see men be actively involved in serving in their church first. We want them to serve in their church. We want them to be servants in their home also, to really show their children, their grandchildren, what service is all about. And then we also really want them to we can be able to help organizations. Now, I would like for this idea to spread some, we have this group in Irving that's doing that, but I'd like to see it in some other communities too.
What's needed in other communities? Just a person that's like you that could start this?
Yeah, you need somebody to pick up the vision and not be afraid to ask men to have a night of barbecue and talk about service. It starts small, and hopefully it builds. And but I really would like to see where it's in other locations besides just Arlington.
Wouldn't the world be a better place if there were organizations such as this all over the country? Sure.
I mean, you're getting men out to serve, and I have a special feeling for men that are retired or getting ready to retire. It's kind of a scary time, when you're losing your occupation, but you're starting off something new. But we want them not to just sit there,
and sit down.
Yeah, but to go out and take their time that they have now to go out and help somebody, serve somebody, and that helps our whole community. That's the vision that I have. And 10 years from now, I hope there's other organizations in our community, in our state. I guess I want to say it that way.
Now, notice you have a shirt on, Men Serving God.
Men Serving God.
You wear that out in public. Do you have other men come up to you and ask you, what is this?
Yes, I do. And a lot of women will ask, what is Men Serving God? We have quite a wardrobe. We have shirts, we have hats, and that we give these things away too. At our barbecue, everybody gets a hat that says Men Serving God, and then we also have others that men can buy, which men do buy. I had a man the other day. I saw him. He had a really nice dress shirt on. wasn't a blue one like this, but he had taken our logo and had it put on his shirt and just on his own. And so he was, I think he was proud to be part of Men Serving God. And but we do that's our kind of our advertising.
Besides that, how can folks find out more about Men Serving God?
We have a website. It's called menservinggod.org. And you can go there, and we try to tell our story there. And, and they'll see men doing different things on the website. And we've had that, up and running for 2 or 3 years now. And so,
well, best of luck to you, and hopefully the organization continues to grow beyond what it is.
Yeah, the key thing for me is that a group of men that came together to form our board, strong Christian men who have the same passion, and that's the key. It's not I have to be the founder, but these other men have taken it and run with it, and so, and we have a board of many men have many skills, and so it's a very active board, and a very board that's committed to sharing the gospel, helping men serve.
Jerry, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Jerry McCullough with Men Serving God. Thanks for joining me today for BizTV's Create, Build, Manage. Episodes of Create, Build, Manage are available on demand on the free BizTV streaming app. Visit watch.biztv.com and get BizTV programming anytime, anywhere. Stay tuned to BizTV for more stories that educate, enlighten, and empower.